Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back. Almost all of us. My son Stu will be out today, but we've got the rest of the crew here. We got Nancy Stewart, we got Rick Kearney, we got Jonathan Cantor, our producer, director. We have to come up with vice president of production. I think would be good.
I think that might be in order.
This is the live "Here I Am" kind of a thing, and you heard the recorded introduction. We've got a lot of regular listeners out there, viewers all over the planet, literally. And I welcome the new folks. We got to grow. It's all about growth. The car dealers are growing. Population's growing. We got to grow because our purpose is taken advantage of, hopefully choosing the right car for yourself, and dealing within an infrastructure of car dealerships and auto manufacturers that are dinosaurs. I mean, literally, not much has changed with the way cars have been manufactured, distributed, and sold retail in the past 100 years. It's hard to believe, right? I mean, look at what else is changing so fast. You can't, a day can't go by when there's not something new, something that you're using that's obsolete. Change is just moving along at warp speed. Meanwhile, the car dealers and the auto manufacturers are frozen in time back in the day of Henry Ford. Interesting. I'd love to see a history book 100 years from now looking back on this era. This is the era, an exciting era, because this is an era when the car dealerships and the auto manufacturers, the whole concept of cars and transportation, everything's changing. I mean, bam, bam, bam. I mean, it's just going to happen so fast. And your grandchildren are going to be running around in a fully autonomous vehicle. They'll be reading a Sunday paper. There I'm dating myself. There won't be any Sunday papers, but they'll be on their smartphone. and they will be going wherever they want to go. And it'll be perfectly safe. The autonomous driving will be perfectly safe. All the vehicles, when they get on our massive expressways, in 40 years, 30 years, I haven't got a crystal ball, but our grandchildren will be doing this, our great-grandchildren maybe for me. Picture everybody getting on the turnpike or the expressway and all moving at exactly the same speed. Now, the biggest problem to me and Nancy when we're driving somewhere is if we go the speed limit, we're going to get rear-ended. So if we're going to be safe, we have to speed. And even when you're speeding, you're not safe because people are zigging back in, and these motorcyclists are weaving in and out of you. It's really dangerous out there. But just picture all the vehicles on highways going at the same speed, and then a vehicle would get off, another vehicle would get back on, and the entire expressway would move simultaneously at the same speed. We would have virtually no accidents, no highway deaths. That's what's coming. And the way cars are retailed, and this is what we do. I'm talking about what I can't do anything about, autonomous driving and that thing. But what I can do something about is help you buy or lease a car or maintain or repair your car in the next few years that we'll be doing this without being taken advantage of. And believe me, you are being taken advantage of greatly. We have a lot of people that are waiting to call the show before I get off on a rant, because I get excited about this show. I love it. I mean, Nancy and I we can't wait till next week when we do the show. It's one of the high points of our lives. We love it. Exciting. Talking and hearing from you. You teach us every week, probably more than we teach you. And we can't wait for your calls. That number is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Nancy Stewart, watching her laptop, call comes in. If a call came in right now, she'd wave at me, and I'd shut up, turn the mic over to her. We also have a text number, And we love to build up a little archive of text because Rick Kearney will get to those texts before the end of the show. And some people don't want to be live on the radio, or maybe you don't have time. You know, you're listening for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Shoot us a text, and we'll answer it. You can then go back and listen to the podcast and hear the answer to your text. That text number is 772-497-6530. Text number is 772-497-6530. I'm going to give you another way you can get through to us, and that's anonymous feedback. I just gave Rick a few anonymous feedbacks that had come in recently, and it's a link, www.youranonymousfeedback.com, youranonymousfeedback.com. And you send us a message, the comment, the criticism, the praise. We'll take anything. You can say whatever you want. We don't know who you are. We can't find out who you are. Your privacy is perfectly protected. There's a company called Incognito. If you're interested, if you're a business person, or you'd like to have your own anonymous link, go to incognito.com. That's INCOGNEATO, not spelled a little differently, incognito.com. And you can sign up for your own link. We do that at our dealerships for our employees, and we do it for you, our radio listeners. We also have a Zoom, and you can appear on camera. And if you have a Zoom account, our ID number is 926-589-0586. Our Zoom ID number, if you'd like to contact us and be seen. I've got a little laptop to my left, too. I can see you, wave at you. You can see me, wave at me. That Zoom meeting ID is 926-589-0586. Now, I'm going to turn this mic over to Nancy Stewart, my co-host. She co-founded this show with me 20 years ago. She's been in from the get-go when we're just a little old show on Thursdays for a half an hour. Now we're on Saturdays for 2 hours, and we're the most popular show at this time in this area. So we're very proud of how we've grown, and Nancy is a big reason why we've grown, because she's double our audience by bringing females in. We started out with just a bunch of old guys like me, and now we got a female audience, thanks to Nancy. Nancy, the mic is all yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Earl Stewart on Cars, if you just tuned in. I hope you were here for the beginning of the show when Earl said something telling, and that is, nothing has changed in 100 years. Wow, what a statement. And that encourages us to stay on top of what we are trying to promote here. And if you don't know what it is, it's the Federal Trade Commission's CARS rule. And week in and week out, we talk about it. Week in and week out, we talk about it. We've been talking about it forever. And that is the dealers that are taking advantage of you, of everyone, in any way they can. And the CARS rule is meant to crack down on bad dealership behavior. I'll say no more. Also, this morning we're going to get to, well, we have a whole lot to get to. You want to stay tuned for the Mystery Shopping Report, without a doubt. And I won't even mention the car dealer. You can stay tuned for that. It's a surprise. Also, ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We would love to hear from you. As I always say, all of you out there make the show. You're a very important part of the show. And ladies, we're looking to build the audience, the platform here. And we do that by offering you the $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Also this morning, we have $100 for the first 2 Zoom callers. And you can give us a call on the meeting ID number if you have signed up with Zoom, and that number is 926 589 0586. So jot that number down, 926 589 0586. Would love to see you. Would love to hear from you on Zoom. I think that, I don't know, what do you think we should do? Should we go to Rick and let him maybe start the wheel turning as far as anonymous feedback, as far as
Well, you mentioned Rick. I think that's a good idea. Look, I didn't mention Rick, which was a great oversight because he's the backbone of the show. We talk about cars, we talk about leasing, we talk about buying cars. Fixing cars is really where it's at today, and maintaining and repairing a car. Rick gets more calls than anyone, and he has a better following than anyone on the show. He's a certified diagnostic master technician. He can diagnose your car online. If you really want to get a good diagnosis, you can send him an audio clip or a video clip on YouTube, or youtube.com/Earl on Cars. That's youtube.com/Earl on Cars. Rick monitors that. And instead of going into a car dealership or an independent repair shop and getting taken advantage of, give Rick a call. Or Zoom him, or we can text him. Any of the ways that you can get through the show for Rick Kearney, he can save you a ton of money. So, Rick, I'll turn the mic over to you. You can do some text or anonymous feedbacks, and the rest of you want to call Rick, use those numbers I just gave you.
Well, good morning. We'll go ahead and start with Anne Marie's text that we do every Saturday. She says, good morning. I've been looking at pre-owned cars online, and I see many are advertised as certified used cars. This has aroused some curiosity and skepticism. Number one, taking into account that puffery is rampant when cars are sold, could you please define what a dealer might mean when a car is referred as a certified used car? Two, does it mean that the car is in good condition and will continue to run once it leaves the lot? 3, does it just mean that someone else owned the car before? 4, is the phrase certified used car actually meaningless, and the prospective buyer should take the vehicle for an independent inspection by a certified auto technician before they buy it to make sure the vehicle is in good running order? Well, to put it in a quick nutshell, everyone's going to use the term certified used car. That's just like you say, a generic term, really doesn't have a whole lot of meaning or definition. Most dealerships, however, will have what they call their certified inspection that is for the cars that are the same as that dealership. So like,
it's actually the manufacturer.
Right, the manufacturer. So like a Toyota at a Toyota lot will have a Toyota certification. Hondas at a Honda dealership will have a Honda certification, and same thing for each of them. And that is a checklist that the factory sends down. The cars have to be below a certain mileage and below a certain year, and they are given a much more thorough inspection. The tires have to be almost new. They have to match all the way around. The brakes have to be almost new. In other words, this car needs to be like just one step away from a new car. You're going to pay a little extra, but you'll also usually get an extended warranty on it as well. And it's shall we say, a newer car that's going to be in a lot nicer shape.
Well, let me give you a little insider tip, Anne Marie and all the other people that are listening to this. Let's say it's a certified Honda used car. Okay, Honda, as Rick said, put together some very good parameters that this car must fulfill in terms of mileage, time and warranty, and of course condition, and a checklist of things that should be done to verify that all these things are as they should be. Now, you've heard the old expression, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Well, the weakest link in the certified used car chain is the technician or the used car manager or somebody as a human being that something happened in between the time they put that certified sticker on the car and the car came into the dealership. Was it really inspected the way it should have been? Was it really road tested the way it should have been? Now, I would recommend that you ask to see the certification checklist so you know what was supposed to have been done. And here's a little red flag for you. If you've got 20 check boxes and the sheet's very clean and there's no checks or X's, but a big line that looked like it was hurriedly drawn through 25 check boxes, maybe the technician the only thing he did was draw the line. He didn't check the vehicle out. And here's another tip. If you want, and I think, by the way, a properly certified, factory certified used car is a good buy. And of course, you still have to negotiate the price, so that's got to be a good price too. But the car is a good car. What I would do if I were buying a certified used car, I would first verify the technician had inspected the car, and that what was done was actually done. And then I would say, I want to buy the car, but I don't want the warranty, because the dirty little secret behind why the manufacturers love certified used cars is that they sell the dealer a warranty, and then the dealer sells you that warranty. So the factory makes a profit by selling the dealer the warranty, and they resell it, mark it up again, and they make a profit. Say, find me one of those cars out there that's been certified, but you haven't bought the warranty from the factory yet. So I'll take the car, and you can keep the warranty. I don't want to pay for the warranty. So instead of paying $800 extra for that certified used car, you buy it at the same price you would buy a normal car, and you have the peace of mind of knowing that a good technician did actually do the checklist. So you can have your cake and eat it too.
And to top the whole thing off, I wouldn't recommend buying any pre-owned car, whether it was a rental car or anything, ever, without having an independent mechanic, someone of your choosing, take the car to them, pay $100, $150 if you have to, and have that car thoroughly inspected for anything that might be an issue with it. And a good mechanic is going to know what to look for. He'll be able to make sure that car is safe and reliable, and that you're going to get a decent car.
Great point, Rick. And when you go back to the dealer and say, my mechanic says it needs this, and if you can fix this and do what he said, I'll buy the car. Gives you a leverage, and it's a way you can actually have a little bit more reconditioning done to the car, and also the peace of mind. You really got yourself a good car then. Independent mechanic of your choice is given a thumbs up. You know the certification process has been done, and you know the price is right.
Rick,
Exactly.
I have a question for you about what we're discussing. Would you say that it is just as important when you purchase a pre-owned vehicle, if you're thinking about purchasing a pre-owned vehicle, it's just as important to go to the mechanic? Because I've always read that the pre-owned vehicle really goes through some strict checklist, and also it's almost a guarantee that you're getting what you paid for.
Some do, but you can't always trust that guy, that mechanic that day. He might have not gotten his coffee. He might have had a bad night's sleep the night before. And that car just might have slipped through because it happens sometimes. Or maybe the guy just wasn't trained properly to do the job the way he should have been. I would always, on any used car, I don't care what anybody else says, take it to your own independent mechanic and have it inspected yourself. That way you know for sure that it was looked at properly, and you know that the car is going to be right. It's just safer that way.
Okay.
Any pre-owned car. And that goes right along with one of the incognitas we've got, where their question is, hello, what are your thoughts on purchasing a car that was a rental from a rental car such as Hertz or Enterprise? I see a car, a Chevrolet, I'm interested in. It's at a dealership, but not a Chevy dealer. It has been there almost 90 days, and according to the Carfax, it was a rental, and the dealership bought it at auction. What are your thoughts of taking it to a Chevy dealership for an inspection? What's the difference between a courtesy inspection when you bring the vehicle in for service and a pre or post purchase inspection? Well, it's always a good idea to take it to the manufacturer to have an inspection done, because a Chevy mechanic is going to know what to look for on that car. And again, courtesy inspection is they're just looking it over real quick to see what they might be able to upsell you while you're in for a maintenance. A real post-purchase inspection or a used car inspection, they're going to really dig into it a lot further and try to make sure that that car is right.
I would,
because you're paying for it then.
Let me jump in there. I think that I think a good independent mechanic is perfectly qualified to check over a car. My problem with a Chevrolet dealership is that if you go into a Chevrolet dealership and they sell used Chevrolets too, and they know that you're thinking about buying a used Chevrolet from Hertz or Avis, there might be a little bit of disingenuous advice given you about the car. If you have an independent mechanic, especially one maybe that you've used for years, or a friend or someone that's highly recommended, he's got no axe to grind. He doesn't care where you buy the car. All he wants to do is be sure the car, wherever you buy it, is a good car. I know that for advanced problems with cars, high-tech problems with cars, a car dealership might be the only place you could go, because they might be the only ones with diagnostic equipment or with the access to the manufacturer for advice and help on support like that. But for a routine used car inspection, a good independent mechanic to me would give you less of a prejudiced viewpoint, yes or no, and give you some leverage when you went back to the seller to get it fixed, or else you're not going to buy it.
Very true. Okay, another incognito here.
Excuse me, Rick. We're going to go to the phones. And
The phones.
I'm going to give out that number before we take Bill's call. And that telephone number is 877-960-9960, so give us a call. I'll give out the other number, the Zoom number, just as soon as we're finished talking to Bill. So stay tuned for that. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
We're well, thank you. Welcome to Earl Stewart on Cars.
Okay. I listen every week, and unfortunately, I was in a car accident.
Oh, God.
And but I'm okay, though. They totaled my car. Someone hit me. They went through a red light. Okay. So I had to go shopping for a new car. And I was going to say my stomach is still getting over it. But I probably have gone to 10 dealers in the last week, and I listened to you guys for a couple of years, and all your techniques are excellent. But they must send the salesmen, I want to say, to the same school, because all the dealers have, the dealer fee, the nitrogen in the tires.
Yep.
An appearance package for $2,700, all kinds of stuff. But one technique I noticed that they all use is that they'll hand you they'll show you the numbers, because I always say I want out the door numbers, and they'll show you a slip of paper, and they want you to initial the slip of paper because they want to make it seem like not that you're buying the car, but almost like you're buying the car because you're initialing the price.
That's called a commitment, and they teach you in the sales handbooks. You get the customer to buy in and commit, and one of those ways is initialing. Psychologically, when you initial something, you kind of give up a little bit toward their demands.
Yes, or another technique they'll use is they'll show you a super high price. And then they'll say, well, what will you give us for the car? Write your price that you want to give us and circle it and initial it.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said, they're giving you the impression that not that you're buying the car, but you're committing to buy the car because you put some numbers down and you initialed it. Yeah. And I'm going to say 9 of the 10 dealers used that technique when I went this week.
That dates back to horse trading 200 years ago. That's the way horses were bought and sold. I mean, it was we use that term today, horse trading, because and that's the way the car dealers, frozen in time, selling cars today the way horses were sold 200 years ago.
Yeah, and most of them have that phony Moroni. And when I say, well, don't even start with the phony Moroni. Oh, that's not a phony Moroni. That's an addition to the Moroni label that we put on at the dealer.
Yeah.
I said, well, didn't come from the manufacturer. That's something that you guys are adding. And it's just unbelievable that they want thousands of dollars over the MSRP for the car. And unfortunately, since I was there and I listened very well, they get away with it with a lot of people. A lot of people are buying cars and paying all these extra fees.
Yeah, and everybody pays a different price for the same car. Back years ago when I was an evil car dealer, one of the parameters I used to measure my sales force as to whether they were doing the job that I had dictated, I wanted to see a spread. I was a Pontiac dealer, so if I had a Pontiac GTO and I sold 20 GTOs during the month, let's say they were all the same description, same MSRP. I wanted to see a very wide spread between what we charge the customer for the same car, and a healthy spread would be thousands of dollars. So that meant that the victim, the person came in, it could be the elderly person, it could be the kid that never bought a car before, it could be someone that was just emotionally overwhelmed with the idea of buying a new car. You'd make $5,000 profit on that. And then on the same car, 2 days later or 2 weeks later, an attorney came in who was just sharp as a tack. He was used to wheeling and dealing, negotiating, and working with other attorneys and judges. I mean, really, really a tough negotiator. He'd buy the car for $100 over my cost. And to me, that was a healthy thing because, in the words I used back in those days, you have to ask for all the money all the time. So when someone walks in the door, go for the moon, shoot for the $5,000 profit. But if you have to take a $100 profit and you have the availability and the inventory, go ahead and take the $100 profit. That's the way cars are being sold, and that's what they were doing to you.
Yeah. Well, I thought the economy wasn't that great, but they're selling a lot of cars because, again, like I said, I went to 10 dealers this week, and they're moving they're moving cars.
You got to be worn out. 10 dealers. Did you physically go in, or did you visit online?
No, you have to physically go there if you really want to get an out-the-door price, because I did the internet, but the internet price is like easily $3 or $4 grand higher than what it is when you get there.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, I physically went there to all these dealers, and they all use the same technique, and it's really kind of amazing to me.
Yeah, Jeff, here's a little tip. If and when you decide to go through this again, which maybe never, but if you decide to again, when you do, try online again, and use this verbiage in your statement, and also use a different email address so they don't hound you to death, and don't give them your phone number, but get a free email address from Google or someplace, Yahoo, are they still around? But get a free email address, and then go online. And you say to the dealer on the email, "This is the exact car I want. You have it in your inventory. Give me your lowest out-the-door price so that I pay only sales tax and license plate. Out the door is my price. And yes, if you give me this price, I will be shopping it and comparing it with other dealers. Yes, you'll have a lower chance of selling me a car if you don't give me a really good price. But if you don't give me a price, or you give me a high price, you'll never hear from me again. So if you want at least a chance to sell me a car, give me the lowest price, because you'll never hear from me again after you receive this email if you don't. It doesn't work all the time, but it saves you a lot of shoe leather. And that way, instead of going to 10 dealerships in a month, you can go to 100 dealerships in a month, because all you do is sit up in front of your PC, your smartphone, and that you can do that in 2 hours.
Yeah, but the only, and I 100% agree with you, the only unfortunate thing is they require you to put your phone number in if you want to get any information back.
Lie to them, Jeff. I use I give them a phone number from my Pontiac dealership that I had 40 years ago. I mean, I think any number I want, or maybe if you have somebody that you're really angry at and you want to get even with them, give them their phone number. I mean, but
well, that would be the way. That would be the way to do it, because of course, once you put that phone number in, they blow your phone up.
Oh yeah, don't ever give them your real phone number. Don't ever give them your real email address.
No, I understand that. I have what I call a throwdown email, and I actually have a throwdown phone just for these reasons.
Oh, did you?
Because,
good. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna say, I had to input the numbers on the internet. I'm probably getting 60 or 70 phone calls a day and they're like, well, that's not us. That's the Business Development Center. I said, well, I don't care who it's from. The phone is still ringing.
Yeah, Rick had a comment with me.
Got a couple quick comments from Donovan here. He says, for the caller, tell the dealer that you're far away and you need to work the numbers over the phone or email before you drive 2 hours to them. He says, that's what I do, and I never leave my house till I have something I'm happy with. He says, also, get a Google Voice number. It's free.
Oh, that's right.
And you can simply answer the ones you choose to answer.
I forgot all about Google Voice, yeah. Thank you, Donovan.
Yeah, no,
you're my man, Donovan.
Nice to hear from you, Bill.
Because you could just delete. Okay, thanks a lot. You guys have a good one, and I appreciate everything you do every week.
Thank you, Bill, and thanks for tuning in. Our number here is 877-960-9960, and I have to commend you, Earl. I think you're onto something when you mention horse trading.
Yeah.
That really sounds like the way to go.
Yeah.
But we can't do that, right? That buying and selling horses, maybe that's the answer. Maybe that would work quicker if we dealt with these dealers
We could
like
use the same
they
technique.
did in the horse
what
trading
they did
days.
to a horse thief 200 years ago, and there was very little horse thievery. So if we shot people,
Do you think it would be easier than trying to push this cars deal ahead? What do you think, Rick? Do you think that we should initiate something new? Horse trading. Okay, just a little humor there.
I'm staying out of that one.
It's worth delving into. I'm going to give you that Zoom number. And if you've signed up with Zoom, you can give us a call at the meeting ID number 926-589-0586. That's 926-589-0586. And again, $100 for the first 2 Zoom callers if you've never called on Zoom before. And also for the ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. And we really appreciate you tuning in, ladies, because if you don't know it, you are a huge part of this industry. Huge. The numbers have grown enormously, and take advantage of what we have to offer this morning. Okay, we're going to go back to Rick.
Well, here we are with another incognito. Hi, do you know if an alloy wheel is superficially damaged by getting too close to the curb, can it be fixed or does it have to be replaced? Do you recommend to get it fixed or replace it? Thank you. We see a lot of alloy wheels that get scraped up on curbs, and we use a company called Turbax. Now, it does take a day or two turnaround time. You drop the car off, we take the wheel off, they come pick it up, they do their magic, they bring it back, we put it back on your car for you, and I have seen car wheels that were just horribly disfigured, and they look brand new again. So if if you got that scraped up wheel and it just looks terrible on the car, this company saves you the cost of replacing a rim, which some of those wheels can cost $1,000 each or more even, and they can do it, I think, for like $150, $200. They can make that wheel look brand new again.
Rick,
So
aren't
it's
you at a-
well worth doing that.
Are they
Isn't it a
national
great-
or are they local, state?
It's called Turbax, Turbax.
Is that a national company?
I think it's local, but they may be national.
Yeah, maybe we need to Google somebody national. So.
Yeah, let's check that one on. Get through these other two real quick, and then I'll Google up Turbax for that. This one, my car lease expires soon, and I want to buy a car. On the paperwork are these sections: excess wear, ding shield, pre-delivery service charge, etc., private tag, sailor, and acquisition fee. Should I have to pay all that cost? Also, how do I get an accurate residual value, or should I skip the dealer and go directly to Toyota? That one sounds like it's right up your alley, Earl.
Yeah, the residual value is you have the option price on your lease, and that's what you pay for the car. If they try to charge you more from that, then they're violating the law. It's a federal. There's a federal leasing act of 1976 that says that the option to buy is sacrosanct. You have to can't add 5 cents to that price. That's the price. As far as finding out the market value, chances are your option price, if you've leased a car in the past 3 years, was probably a good buy. It's probably, the option price is probably lower than the market value today. So, but to confirm that, you need to basically shop and determine the actual cash value, which is the retail wholesale price of the car. You do that by going to CarMax, WeBuyAnyCar.com, any other. There's a lot of sources out there that could give you the actual value of your car. You could just go into a car dealership and say, "What will you pay me for this car? I'm downsizing and I don't need 3 cars in the family. And what will you pay me?" Do that to, if you're driving a Honda, go to 3 Honda used car lots and ask the used car manager, "What will you pay?" Then you've got 2 numbers. It's a simple choice. Is my option to buy in the lease a much better price than I could sell it for? In which case you should exercise your option and be absolutely sure not 1 nickel is added to that option price other than sales tax or a license plate.
And for the Turbax company, they are only one shop located down in Miami. But they will come pick the stuff up from different dealerships or shops, and probably would deal with you at your home if you can get take the wheel off your car at your home.
And I'm sure all states have. I'm sure there are companies all over the country.
Yeah.
That do this. So.
But yeah, I would definitely have a wheel repaired, if only just because it looks so much nicer. Okay, one last incognito here. Why do consumers put up with dealers like Hollywood Toyota? It's crazy. I regularly buy cars, and if I have an issue, I won't set foot in a dealership unless they give me a buyer's order ahead of time with an out-the-door price that I'm prepared to pay. Believe it or not, too many dealers in South Florida will do this.
Yeah, Hollywood Toyota is the, I think currently about the 3rd largest volume Toyota dealership in the world. They've been as high as #1 for a brief period of time, and they've been #2. They're top 3 all the time. They sell 1,000 new Toyotas a month. I mean, just incredible volume. They pretty much get away with anything. They're in South Florida, and a lot of the dealers down there do the same thing. Hollywood Toyota is a unique dealership in the sense that they're located in a very unusual demographic area. A lot of people haven't heard of Hollywood, Florida. It's near Miami. It's near Fort Lauderdale. It's a very interesting area. As a lot of people know, Miami is an international city, and Hollywood, Florida, has probably a larger population of more people from out of the United States than any place I know of. And if you go into Hollywood Toyota, it's very interesting. They have they speak fluently about a dozen languages. So if you're Japanese, if you're Korean, if you're Indian, if you are from practically any country in the world, they have a salesperson in there that's fluent in your language.
Wow.
Now, they are able to sell cars. Obviously, picture yourself in France, and you don't speak French, but you have to buy a car. So you go into a Peugeot dealership, and you speak English, and they speak French, and the contract's in French, and you can't read it. You can imagine what they can sell you that Peugeot for. Well, so a lot of people that gravitate toward Hollywood Toyota because they know that the salespeople will speak their language. Well, that sounds like a good idea. That helps, but there's no competition. So when that salesperson that speaks Japanese gives you the lowest price, if you don't speak English, how are you going to compare that price? And it's not going to be easy for you. So that's one advantage they have, and they also are able to get away with some of the most outrageous advertising we've ever seen. By the way, it'll be very interesting to mystery shop them after the September 30th deadline, which is when the Florida Attorney General, Ashley Moody, is going to put the rules into effect that we're seeing from the Federal Trade Commission's combat auto retail scams. So, but you're right about Hollywood Toyota. They're tough, they're extremely successful, and this is going to be the biggest challenge for Ashley Moody when this kicks in.
And imagine the feeling of trust and camaraderie that you would immediately build with that salesperson because they speak your language so well.
Oh, sure.
You're automatically going to feel some level of trust to them, and then they've won. They can take you for anything they want.
Exactly.
Okay, this comment from Donovan. He says, on Wednesday of this week, Polestar kicked off production of the Polestar 3 EV SUV in South Carolina. They brought production from China to the U.S. to avoid tariffs in the U.S. and Europe on China-made cars. They aim to make about 3,000 a week, with 50% for the U.S. and 50% for export. That's some interesting news because
China is combating Tesla for number one in EV sales. They go back and forth. I think Tesla might be currently number one, but the Chinese were number one. It's going to be Elon Musk versus China. But see, Elon was smart enough to get into China years ago, and the United States was very reluctant to have any manufacturing or any ties with China. It was politically incorrect. And Elon went over there all by himself, sat down with Xi and the other Chinese big shots, and cut a deal. And he just sells a huge amount of cars. He was selling more cars to the Chinese in China, and then they copied a lot of the Tesla production techniques and engineering and science, everything else. He let them do it. He said, okay. And now he's entrenched in China like no other car. So it's going to be fun. Competition is our friend. So I welcome the Chinese manufacturers over here, and China was smart to welcome the American manufacturers over there. Only one, which is Elon Musk. And the more the merrier. I'm a consumer I'm a car dealer, but I'm not a Tesla car dealer. So, Nancy and I buy Teslas. We like Teslas, and we'll buy our next Tesla will probably be cheaper as a result of the fact that China is a real threat now in EVs.
Yeah. Well, that's got us cut up from my side. Some has just asked one other question. Where's your book? The second one.
Oh, second one, it's on hold.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on
I'll
hold.
tell you.
Hey.
Here's an interesting thing. As I got toward the end of the book, things were changing so fast It was like like writing a book on World War II before Hiroshima. I mean, there are so many changes in effect going on, and to me, I don't want to sound morbid, but this next book will probably be my last book, and so if I like my last book to at least be somewhat complete, and it'll be obsolete the way it stands right now. I mean, we finished the book, and we looked around us, but what about this? What about that? And there's so many things, and the car business, the retail, the manufacturers are changing so fast. I can't write the book fast enough to finish it. So how's that for a good excuse?
I understand it. You can't write the history book until the history has occurred.
I'm 2 years late, but
Yeah.
it
But
will
I
happen.
just know there's a lot of folks that are kind of
Yeah.
wondering about it.
I couldn't have said it any better, and we'll wrap that up. Let me go back to what you said. We were discussing the CARS rule. Is it September the 30th, or is it September the 1st for that deadline?
Oh, yeah, September the 1st. I'm sorry, you're right. And it's not the CARS rule. The CARS rule is the Federal Trade Commission regulation. September the 1st is the Florida Automobile Dealers Association going hand in hand with Ashley Moody, the Florida Attorney General, to enforce what is in the FTC regulation, combat auto retail scams. So it will be actually, and this is all they're doing is enforcing Florida law. For over 20 years, Florida has had the same laws on the books that the Federal Trade Commission regulation, combat auto retail scams, is just bringing out for the whole country. So somebody said, "Hey, you know, this is going to happen. Florida's already got the laws on the books. Why aren't we enforcing those laws?" And Ashley Moody, for some reason, I give Ted Smith all the credit in the world, the president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, to actually get Ashley Moody to combat auto retail scams was a miracle. He did it, and he and I are kind of friendly enemies. You know how that would go.
Yep.
So it's going to happen September 1st, folks. It's going to happen in about 13 days.
Okay, well, you heard it right here, folks. That number here is 877-960-9960. You can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget to give us a call on Zoom. We're going to go to Marty. I'll give that number out again when we're done talking to Marty. He's been holding, and Marty's a regular caller. Good morning, Marty.
Hello, Marty.
Good morning.
Are you there?
How you doing,
Good
Marty?
morning. Good morning.
Morning.
I got a question for Earl.
Okay.
I read a thing, I think it was last week, where Toyota is betting on hybrids rather than EVs. And the reason that I think that they're right is there's a lot of people, especially down here that I know, that don't have garages, that park outside, that it will be very hard to put a charger in where they live. So I think Toyota is very smart sticking with well, I'm not saying that they won't have electric, but they're still betting more on hybrids. And do you agree?
Yeah, they made that decision, and while having the best inventory or the best stable or whatever you want to call it of EVs in the world, they, as you know, Toyota, began the whole hybrid revolution with the Prius many years ago. They were the laughing stock of the industry because they thought a hybrid vehicle was a joke. They proved them wrong. Consequently, they now basically have hybrids in all their models, and they're better hybrids. They're better engineered. They're more reliable. They require less repair work. By far, the hybrid is the vehicle to buy today. But in 20 years, it will be that vehicle will be the EV, not the hybrid. The hybrid will slowly go away. So Toyota, a lot of people say Toyota missed the boat on electric vehicles. I guess you could say they did, but they were so strong with hybrids they could afford to miss the boat because it's the interim time, and they're actually making more money and selling more cars than ever thanks to the hybrid. They're also partnering with a lot of people, especially in batteries. See, an electric vehicle is nothing more than a battery on wheels. I mean, the manufacturer that has the best electric vehicle battery, solid state is the next generation. The person with the company with a state-of-the-art battery will win the EV race, and that's what Toyota's doing now. They're partnering with other top scientific software companies to have the world's best EV, and they'll just build a car. A car is nothing but, what is a car? I mean, it's all software now with a power plant, and a power plant with a battery and software on four wheels. That's all the car is. So when you build a car today, you're not really building anything like we think in the way when we assemble a Model T Ford or even a 2024 car, a regular combustion engine car. Assembling a mechanical car is one thing. Building a computer, which is a software thing, with a battery that'll last 1,000 miles, which is what we'll have. That's where Toyota will be in 10 years when they need to be there.
What I don't know if you've ever done this because you've got your own garage and everything, obviously. But if you have to charge your car up on a charger that you have to pay for, what does it cost to charge it? Fully on something that you got to pay on.
It sounds strange. I have never charged my car on a charger. We have a charger in our garage, right. And so I've never used one. So Donovan probably knows the answer to that. It goes right on your Tesla app charge when you do it, and they have of course the fast charger, the supercharger, that'll charge the car in less than 20 minutes, and then they have the longer charger. But it's a lot less expensive than gasoline. Let's put it that way. And it takes no more time to do than gasoline, and that's one of the reasons why Tesla's so far ahead is because they've given their chargers away, technology to everybody. And you might hate Elon Musk for political reasons, but that was pretty nice of him to give Ford and General Motors or the Chinese, anybody asking wants to use our chargers. Here he spent billions of dollars building chargers all over the world, and he could have kept them to himself and only used them for Teslas. He said, take it.
Quick note here from Donovan. He says Earl's Tesla charged at home with FP&L will cost about $11.40 for a full charge,
right?
Whereas a supercharger will run you $30.
Yeah. Well,
what I'm saying is, if people don't have garages and they have to pay, say, $30, that's going to affect them.
Well, if you want to maximize, like Donovan said, if you want to maximize or minimize your costs, you'll have a home charger. And I agree with you. A lot of people don't have garages. I think that will be addressed by entrepreneurs, business people. There's got to be a way you can provide charger for people that don't have garages. I mean, a waterproof charger. I mean, if you keep your car in the driveway, there'll be an outdoor charger. There'll be a solar charger. I mean, that's just a minor glitch, minor bump in the road. I didn't know the cost of a supercharger for Tesla until Donovan called in, because I've never used one. But I don't use. We've had our Tesla now for 3 years, and we've never had to use it because we don't go to Washington or New York or California. And but if I was going to go to New York in the Tesla, I wouldn't mind paying $30 to get to where I was going, and maybe when I got there, there'd be a home charger I could use. So it's for people that travel, and people that travel expect to have to pay money.
Personal experience, $30 to recharge your vehicle to go 300 miles.
Well, more than that, yeah.
And my pickup truck, 310, 320 miles, right now it's costing me $50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the 30,
Yeah.
but just it's not really feasible for me to go to electric right now. However, Donovan says it's cheaper than going to the gas station, but in the end of this transition, charging will be everywhere. It won't work if we don't have it. It's just not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the infrastructure's just got to modify to be built.
Yeah, if you have a retail store and you want to have them come and buy your product, whatever it is, and you have chargers, superchargers that will charge the car in 20 minutes, and your competitor down the street doesn't have a charger, where are you going to go to buy that product? You got to go over you get your car charged. So it'll become something. We have chargers at our dealership that will charge other make cars, because we want people with other make cars to come into our Toyota dealership. They might decide to buy a Toyota while they're there, so we provide chargers.
My neighbor across the street has an outside charger for their Tesla.
Oh, is that right? I didn't
Yeah,
even know they had outside chargers.
It's mounted on the outside of her house.
Is that right?
And she just, each day when she gets home, I see her pull the big cable over, plug it in,
Right in the driveway.
and before she
Well,
leaves
give me
to
the
go.
name of that, because our cyber beast is coming in soon, and it won't fit in my garage.
Yeah, I'll ask
Well,
her. I'm pretty sure it's Tesla.
To wit,
Because
Rick,
she drives a Tesla, so I'm sure it's a Tesla charger.
It is a Tesla.
Yeah.
Hey, to Rick and to Earl, if you take a ride around the neighborhood, you'll see we have two neighbors with that setup that Rick just
Why didn't
mentioned.
you know that?
Yeah, they charge their car right outside in the driveway.
Yeah, I was just thinking of all the extension cords coming out of people's.
Yeah, that'll
front
work.
doors.
No, it's quite clean. The car is parked pretty close to what looks like, I'm looking at it from a distance, it looks like the car is parked pretty close to the garage, and on the outside, as Rick described, it's the same exact setup where, the car is being charged.
Yeah, the cable on my neighbor's, it looks like she literally could pull in nose first and still be able to get the cable to her car. It's a nice long cable.
Exactly. You have any other questions, Marty?
No, very good. I just paid $27 for 500 miles on my car, so for now I'm sticking with hybrid.
Ah, yeah. So
And-
you got the best car for the time right now.
Yeah.
I would keep that hybrid, and when the time comes, when the EV is the right way to go, you trade the hybrid in. But right now, you got the best car for your needs.
And he's driving the Crown.
Yeah.
And I can hear the joy in your voice, Marty. You're really happy that you made the decision that you made.
The only complaint I have now, my grandson is 6'4", and he said he hit his head in the back seat.
Ah,
So I got to tell him, don't sit in the back seat.
yeah, Earl has that problem too. Well, Marty, it was nice chatting with you.
Okay, have a good weekend, and
Thank you,
I'll
Marty.
say
Thank you. Thank you very much,
okay,
Marty.
bye-bye.
We'll hear
Bye-bye.
from you next week. Ladies, did you know that women influence 85% of car purchases? And I'll tell you, I said earlier, you have a great financial impact on the auto industry. And if you don't believe that, you can Google Mary Barra. She's a CEO of General Motors. What a fantastic job she has done, and an impact that she has made on this industry. And if you want to take it a step further, go to Google Florence Lawrence. I bet I put this out there. There isn't anyone out there that knows the influence that Florence Lawrence has made, or did make, I should say. You know what this little lady did? She invented the first turn signal and brake signal. Yes, so take a look, and you'll see a whole list of women who have made a huge impact on this industry. My point, give us a call. Share your stories with us, ladies. We would love to hear from you. And as a little gift, we're giving you $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. I promised you I'd give you the Zoom number, which you can win yourself $100, 2 new Zoom callers, and that telephone number is 926 589 0586. Hey, Earl, didn't we have an interesting week, speaking of what we were talking about before about Tesla? What a learning experience it's been this week for Earl and I. There's always something changing with the Tesla that we're unaware of.
Yeah, the autonomous, we go everywhere with the fully autonomous, and we're beginning to understand why it will be so popular. We're able to see how the concept of 8 cameras, which is detecting things not only all around the car that a human being can't see, and certainly can't see as quickly, but is also with its swarm. There's something called swarm AI, where the autonomous system software is able to look through Google Maps, actually, to see where the traffic patterns are a mile away or 2 miles away. So if you get in your car and you're going to take a 25-mile or a 100-mile trip wherever you're going, as soon as you get in that car and you put your destination in, that car's software sees the traffic right outside where your car is now in the garage. It also sees the traffic 100 miles away and 200 miles away. When it plans your route, it takes into consideration things a human being can't possibly see. So what Nancy is referring to, when we get in the Tesla now and we're going somewhere, we say, I wonder why they're taking us this way. Or I wonder why the Tesla just changed lanes. I wonder why the Tesla speeded up. And if you if you put your hands into the software and just let go with the flow, you find out that you're getting where you're going not only faster but safer than you would if you were driving your own car. There's no doubt in my mind now that once the autonomous is perfected, it will be far safer than anything, any way. I don't care how good a driver you are, an Uber driver or a Lyft driver or a professional driver, when autonomous perfected, that autonomous car will get you there safer and faster than any human being can. It's really impressive.
Hey, let's reveal what goes on in the cabin while we're driving the Tesla. What I'm referring to is, I'll ask you a personal question. How do you feel about the autonomous feature reprimanding you if you speak, if you look away, if you have your Meta glasses on?
Well, it has the eye in the cabin and the ear in the cabin, and so if the software perceives you not to be paying total attention, I get a flash on the screen and a beep, and it tells me to pay attention.
Or
Keep
be
your eyes
quiet.
on the road. Once the software is perfected, and once it's tried and proven, and maybe the National Highway Traffic Safety Association says so, okay, well, then maybe they take those off. But I think it's a good idea now. I mean, it's a little annoying, but it's also makes us feel a little safer.
Well, you probably pay more attention to the road than most of the people out there driving regular cars anyways.
Yeah.
Because they're all down on like this while they're driving the car.
You put it mildly. You expressed yourself in a very calm way, unlike the cabin. That's all I'll say. Hey, we're gonna go to Mary, who's been holding, and Mary calls us often, and she's from LaBelle, and we just love her. Hi, Mary.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning,
Welcome.
crew.
Welcome.
I have a 2011 Honda CRV, and the check engines light came on. I took it to the local auto parts store. They put the computer on it, and it came up with canister purge valve as the fault.
Okay.
I'm wondering is that critical to the vehicle? Is that something that I should have changed?
It's actually not an expensive part in most cases, and I would, find a like an independent mechanic to have it done. It'll save you a fortune of money that way. But basically, all that thing does is the charcoal canister in your car collects the fumes from the gasoline tank so that they don't just escape into the atmosphere. That's part of the emission system. And then when you're driving the car, the purge valve will open up so that those vapors can be drawn into the engine and burn through, and that way it's, again, it reduces the emissions. If that purge valve is sticking closed or sticking open, the computer has to account for that, but it can't operate the purge system properly, so it triggers that light. It's not a breakdown issue. It will not affect the way your car is driving. And if your car's running normally, it's going to continue running totally normal. It just, if this were an emission state, you wouldn't be able to pass an emissions inspection for it. So
Right.
I wouldn't worry about it unless you absolutely have to. The only real drawback is that if something else goes wrong on the car that is going to trigger that light, you wouldn't know it. So it's
Right.
something that I would call a few different independent shops, tell them what the code is, and ask them, what they'll charge to look at it, and if that's all it is, how much to replace it. Pick one you like that has a reasonable price.
Yeah, they're not very
And
expensive.
then
I just Googled it. They're a
get it done when you-
couple
when you
$100
can.
bucks.
Yeah, it's not an expensive item.
Well, yeah, they at AutoZone they said the piece would be $55.
Yep.
And my challenge, of course, is finding an independent garage that's willing to work on emissions systems. But
Yeah.
I will pursue that as Earl suggested. My friend Google will assist me.
Yeah.
I just-
Are you
I'm
are you on Facebook or any of the social medias?
yes. Yes.
Check with your friends on social media and see if any of them have any mechanics that they recommend. Someone that they trust, and
that's-
because I'll tell you, word of mouth is one of the best ways that good mechanics get customers.
Be
I
sure,
mean,
That's an
and Mary,
excellent tip.
be sure that they're ASE certified.
Yes.
And what category would be important for this work for ASE?
Engine and electrical, but most mechanics that you're going to find, most all of us are ASE certified in all of the 9 categories that it has right now for the main automotive categories.
We'll be absolutely sure they are ASE
Yeah.
certified.
Okay. All right. That's all very good advice. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, you're quite
Hope you
welcome,
guys-
Mary.
Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Yep.
You do the same. We're going to go to John, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John. Thank you for holding.
Oh, good morning. The one thing that I found with the Tesla, and you're talking about the autonomous and it driving for you, right now, when you do that premium system and it brings, you get the internet through the car and that, I only use it when I go back and forth to Michigan. And one thing that I found, if I was using a certain map other than the Tesla provided map, like Wavy or another one, AAR or something, whatever it is, Wavy and also the Tesla one, I didn't realize there was a setting, but it told me to go a different route off the express off of 75. When I went, and I'm thinking, why am I doing this? And then when I went through the system, I found out that I have it set, or it's set default, that if the computer monitoring the traffic finds that when you're on your destination, if it's going to cause you 15 minutes longer to continue, it takes you a different route, and
Yes.
you avoid that, whether it's an accident or whatever.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't realize it was doing that until I started paying attention to the driving times. And when I was driving fully autonomous to places that I normally drove before myself, I had routes in mind I even use the navigation most of the time too. But I thought I could get myself to from point A to point B in South Florida quicker than anybody else. I figured I was really knew the shortcuts and I knew which way to go. I found out that there are ways to go that I never thought about. And of course, roads change and routes change, and the software stays on top of it. But I was probably taking routes that I got used to 20 years ago, and my Tesla Autonomous now takes me places I get there 5 or 10 minutes sooner than I did before.
Yeah, now the one thing that you mentioned, using the autonomous, the mapping system to go into places that you already know. One of the benefits to that is, and this was a discussion on your show many times on how to get rid of that musty smell. And before you turn the car off, you turn the AC off and let the blowers blow or whatever it is to get rid of the. If you use your destination, the AC and the whole system already calculates it for you, and before you get to your destination, it's already turning off the AC.
I did not know that.
And that's.
I'll be darned.
I happen to find.
Very
and
interesting.
I happen to find that out on one of those sites that you always mention about the rooms, the rooms the chat rooms.
Yeah.
And they that so.
That's
Well, listen,
interesting.
John, I'm glad you're excited about it as Nancy and I are, because you have to. It takes a certain temperament that you have to be accepting and curious, and maybe a little risk taking to fully appreciate, because none of us like to admit we're not the best drivers in the world. I've never known anyone that didn't think they were a good driver. Good drivers think they're good drivers, and bad drivers think they're good drivers. So for you to confess that a machine, a computer, is better than you are, takes a certain sort of humbleness that I'm not saying I like to admit it, but I have to admit it.
Well, I'm 63. No, I'm 64 now. I'm 64 years old now, and if this thing's going to drive me around, I want to know a little bit about what driving me around. Not only do I need to know about a driver, that's a person. I want to know about the car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't want some Christine popping up on me and throwing me into a bill. Well, if a lot of your
Well,
don't remember who
I appreciate your call, John, because people either hate Tesla or they love Tesla. They're either violently against autonomous driving, or they're a bunch in favor of it. So it's like politics. There's no gray. It's all black or white.
It's too early to bring up politics.
Yeah.
Hey, John, we do appreciate your call. And, what I have to say is, I can get up in the morning and maybe I have a whole lot of patience. You know how that goes. And you get in the Tesla and you accept things for the way they are when you're driving autonomous. Some days, not so much. You run out of patience, but it's definitely a work in progress. And we're going in the right direction, I can say that.
All right, have a great week.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you, John. We'll talk to you again. Let's go to Andy. Andy's been holding. He's calling us from Fort Lauderdale. Good morning, Andy.
Oh, how you doing? You got a great show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've been buying Mercedes since '77, but used ones, a couple of years old. I'm thinking of buying a 2007 55 LS AMG with 100,000, about 103,000 miles. What do you think I should? Is that I know it has a 500 horsepower engine, and it's I wanted to know what your mechanic there. What does he think would go wrong on it? Like, I know the ABCs and stuff like that with the suspension.
Well, I'll turn it over to Rick. I'll ask you one question. Are you religiously taking care of that car in terms of the factory recommended maintenance?
I don't have it. I'm looking to buy it.
Oh, you're looking to buy one. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have a regular 500.
Oh, regular. Okay.
First thing I would do is get the VIN number, go to the dealership, and ask them to run a service history on it, because that will give you a good idea of what was done for maintenance at the dealerships. And then I would find a good independent technician and that's certified, and I would pay them what you need to have it really inspected and gone over. I mean, it's kind of a high mileage, it's an older vehicle, but if you can work the right price on it, you might find a gem.
But the only thing is, it's in Alabama.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
The car's in Alabama, and
Is it worth it to you for a weekend trip to drive up there?
Well, it's about 700 miles.
Yeah, it's Alabama's a bit of a run, but I'm assuming you're local here, Palm Beach County.
I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
very lazy. I'm a very lazy guy.
If you could do a little homework by researching, you could check with American Automobile Association, or you might even, if you have any friends in the area, or if you could somehow find a reliable independent mechanic, like Rick said, and then you can look at his certifications and find out that he's find out how long he's been in business. I would buy the car subject to his endorsement, and I would, whoever the seller was, and say, deliver the car to this person, and I'd already made the deal with mechanic, and say, I'm going to pay you what we both feel is a fair price to give this a clean bill of health. You give this car a clean bill of health, I'll pay you this. And even if they don't give it a clean bill of health, when he finds out things that need to be fixed, you could go back to the seller and say, I'll buy the car when you fix these items, and my mechanic says A-OK. There's a little risk involved there because you don't know the mechanic, but I think if you do Google ratings, you check certifications, maybe get a recommendation or two that you can verify, your investment in finding that right mechanic will make it safe for you to buy this car.
Yeah. Another way to do it
is... But it's in Alabama. Should I go to an Alabama regular dealer?
Yeah, that's worth it. That's a good shot. Another thing you can do is go online and Google for car forums for that type of car for Alabama.
Oh.
And because it's very possible there may be a car club or two up there for those cars.
It's a Carfax dealer.
Oh, Carfax.
Okay.
Carfax.
Yeah.
He's on Carfax on the internet.
Yeah, they're honest, legitimate people. So they're, I think
price is very cheap. So that's why they go for so much more in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, location makes a big difference on price.
Yeah, I feel better about knowing it's Carfax, and Carfax would be more understanding about the dealership. They wouldn't Mickey Mouse you around. So
I should get the VIN numbers, and that'd be one of the first things, right?
Yes.
Well, it's good luck to you. Let us know how that goes. I like a guy like you that.
Yeah, I want to say something funny. The first car I ever bought was a Pontiac. I know you were a Pontiac guy.
Yeah,
My
1968.
father took me to a Pontiac dealer in Long Island.
Huh.
I bought a '66 Bonneville with a 421 HO engine with tri-power.
Oh man.
376 horsepower. And I hated selling it like an idiot because now it's probably worth a fortune.
3 2-barrel carburetors. Boy, I tell you, those were the days.
It was a 421 with 376.
Yeah.
And it had posi traction. I ordered it, and it only cost $3,800.
Yeah, I had a Ventura with 3 2-barrels and 4 on the floor.
Oh, mine was automatic. But okay, but this car, I'm getting, they're in the $20,000 deal here, and I could get this one for like $13,900, and I could get it for a few thousand less.
Yeah, that's That
That's
might
what
very
she
well
does.
be worth a weekend trip for
Nah, don't make him go to Alabama. He doesn't want to go to Alabama.
Well, you might
I'm
also
an old
ask
guy,
him.
but I'm an old guy, but I never grew up. I'm still like a kid.
Well, don't grow up. I haven't either.
Cars make all of us into kids, but
I know. And I
ask them
already
if they
have
could do a
Mercedes
video.
and a Corvette. I got a Corvette '72 convertible.
Oh, man.
So I'm a real nut job.
You're my kind of guy, I tell you.
Yeah.
Ask them if they can
All right,
send you
I'll
a video
listen
that
to
shows you the interior and underneath the car, because especially areas like that where you get snow, you're going to want to look for any serious signs of rust underneath it.
Alabama gets snow, really? I didn't realize that.
Every so often they get a little bit of it, not a monster amount, but they do get
Right.
their share.
But the price is what got me. I can't believe it. And it's a beautiful maroon and white leather interior. It's got all the options. It seemed too good to be true. So,
Yeah.
you know.
It, Andy, it sounds like as if it's certainly stirred your curiosity. And
Call back next week and let us know what you
Yeah, I
decide
will.
to do.
I think
Yeah.
you might make the run. And before I let you go, I'll let you know that you and my husband definitely have something in common.
You were too nuts. Okay.
And that is that you never grew up.
I never grew up. I'm telling you, I got married at 18, and my wife left me when her father died. She found out how rich she was, but I did very well for myself. I retired at 25.
Oh, there
When I
you
came
go.
to Florida with my father. He retired at 62, and I did great out here. So in real estate. So okay, I love your show. I really do.
Well, call
It's a
back,
great
Andy.
show.
You
Yeah,
know,
I will. I'll call back.
Yeah,
But,
we'd love to hear
we're
from
soul
you.
brothers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Pontiac was the first car. My father had a 62 when I was a kid. Then I made him get the 66. And with everything I ordered, with a posi traction, everything.
Oh, boy,
and I
posi
hated
traction,
getting
wow.
rid of it. What would it be worth now? That car, a lot of money, right?
People don't even know what positive traction is today. Positive, yeah.
Andy, let me tell you something.
Okay.
I was part of the car era back then. I'm showing my age. But I want to tell you, you mentioned if you would have had the car that you sold,
it's worth
if
a
I
fortune.
would have had the car I sold, well, I'd be in a different position. But it's been great talking to you. We'd love to hear from you again.
Yeah, no, I'm going to call you because this car, it's a different color than most of them. A lot of them are black and silver. This one is like a maroon, very nice car.
Oh,
But, yeah.
Nice.
All right.
okay, Andy. Have a great weekend.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Andy, stay tuned for our mystery shopping report from the famous Arrigo. That's Arrigo, Chrysler, Dodge, and a Jeep. We can't forget the Jeep. This is interesting. I was going through the New York Times this past week, and it was Wednesday's newspaper, and they were reporting on the dangers of the airbags and how many recalls have been issued for Ford and Mazda.
Those are Takata airbags, by the way.
And the operative word, Tagata airbags, and 475,000, I believe that they quoted. So it's just we know they're out there, but the New York Times was there to remind all of us. Back to the recovering car dealer.
Yeah, I can't wait till September 1st when we see some action on the part of Ashley Moody and all these car dealers who are mystery shopping now. It's going to be just fascinating to see how they go from 180 miles an hour down to only 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. There's an article in Automotive News. Federal Trade Commission is getting active around the country now. Now, you know the Federal Trade Commission CARS Act, Combat Auto Retail Scams, is pending. And it's being fought in the courts in Texas by the Texas Circuit Court. The NADA attorneys have and the Texas Automobile Association are fighting the implementation of the CARS Act. But because Florida had on the books the same regulations that are going into the CARS Act for 20 some odd years, totally ignored by all the attorney generals for the past 20 plus years. Now they see the handwriting on the wall, and they're going to enact essentially the CARS Act, but it'll be for Florida on September 1st. They're going after car dealerships around the country right now because they are frozen with the CARS Act, meaning they, the Federal Trade Commission, but they're acting independently, and they're going after auto groups and individual automobile dealers. They went after the Coulter Motor Company, and this was in the current issue of the Automotive News. And in the article, how they fined them millions of dollars for violating the rule, the law of the land by bait and switch advertising and advertising a car for thousands of dollars less than you can buy it for. And they talked to a sales manager. It's every car dealer's fear that someone from the outside, an attorney or an attorney general or someone, a regulator, is going to get hold of somebody that works for you that's going to tell you the truth. So most car dealerships have a rule: thou shalt not speak to the press, to any authority, to any lawyer. If somebody calls you, have them speak to our attorney. I mean, they don't want you. They don't want people being talked to. Here's why they don't want people being talked to. So the Federal Trade Commission asked a Coulter dealership why an online vehicle shown on its window was $8,000 lower than what you could buy it for, and they talked to a sales manager. Now, here's what the sales manager said: if we don't advertise the lowest price online, people blow past your ad. Okay. If we don't advertise the lowest price online, people blow past your ad, meaning advertisement. We held back as long as we could and tried doing it differently, but with the manufacturers breathing down our necks and customers coming in at the advertised price and offering $3,000 less than the advertised price, something had to give. Now that's so pure, it brings tears to my eyes that this salesperson was so honest. He was also stupid because he just shot the Coulter Auto Group down by telling the truth. But the reason I bring this up is why so many dealers do what they do. Here's a sales manager that knows that he's doing terrible things, but he is a sales manager, and that's the way he makes his money to feed his family and put his kids through school. And if he wanted to run an honest advertisement, he couldn't do it because his price would be thousands of dollars higher than the competition who was lying and cheating and bait and switch advertising. So that's the guts to why so many dealers, the good, the bad, and the ugly ones are going to do it no matter what because they're greedy and they just want the money and they're going to do it no matter what. But there are also some in between, and they're good dealers, they're honest dealers that feel like they are forced to fight fire with fire.
Exactly.
My competitor's lying, I got to lie, otherwise I go out of business.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. And even though they had to pay $2.6 million, okay, they paid that. They were still, at the end of this ride, pardon the pun, they said, quote unquote, Coulter said, they respectfully insist the allegations made by the agencies simply don't line up with objective measures and statistics. So they're saying it's somebody else's fault. Okay, we've said enough about that. Would you like to get to the dog of the week?
Dog of the week, let's do it.
Yeah, this is the fastest show on record, right, Jonathan? Boy, oh boy, the time just flew. Okay, Big Dog Ranch. Big Dog Ranch. What can we say about Big Dog Ranch? They're fabulous, fabulous people, and you can go out there anytime and you can take a look around and you will be amazed at what you see. Today, we have the Dog of the Week, and we pay the adoption fees, and it can be pretty expensive to adopt a dog. and that's $200. And there's so many options out at Big Dog Ranch that you can take advantage of. Let me mention this also. Sorry to be jumping around, but if you have a dog, it definitely is the best way to go, to take care of that dog is to have the dog chipped. It is just imperative today because there's just a lot of dogs out there that they don't have the chip in them, and it's really important.
I thought you said chipped, or you said chipped. Okay.
Also, folks, make sure that if you got a dog from one of the shelters or something, have your vet scan it and make sure that information on that chip comes back to your name and number, and that it isn't accidentally set up with somebody else's. Otherwise, phone calls and emails and that may wind up going to somebody that's no longer using that, and your dog could remain lost for it.
Yeah.
So make sure that the chip is definitely registered to you.
Yeah, Rick knows all about that. I don't think I've ever met anyone who takes better care of their dog. His dog's name is Haley.
Harley Quinn.
Oh, it's Harley?
Yeah.
Okay. Harley Quinn.
I think I'll have a chip installed in me.
Don't you already?
If I get
Part of the
lost,
cyborg?
If I get lost,
Okay, we're running out of time. I don't see that happening. So that's Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and you can go to www.bdrr.org. And you can fill out an application if you wish so that they can do a background check on you. That'll save some time. And then you can go ahead out there. Also, let me mention the Earl's book that we were talking about earlier, the first book, and that's Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. The reason I mention that is because $19.95, that's what the book costs. And all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. Yes, every time you purchase a book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, the proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. You're helping them out, and every single one of the babies that come through there, those fur babies, they need all of our help. So take advantage of it. Did I tell you what the Dog of the Week's name was? I don't think so. Her name is Nala, and Nala, and she is they're guessing between 3 and 7 years old. So go to the website, take a look at Nala, and you'll see the biography that's been written about her, and might be a perfect match. If you're not a match, you may know someone who wants to adopt a dog or maybe even foster a dog. So take advantage of all that. We're running out of time here, so we are going to get to our mystery shopping report. And you can vote on the mystery shopping report at 772-497-6530, and that is the Arrigo dealership that Agent Lightning visited. And I can't say enough about Agent Lightning. She is fabulous and a great asset that she has come to us and has been working for quite a long time with us. So she's all yours, recovering car dealer.
Okay, mystery shop of Arrigo, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and West Palm Beach. They have several dealerships. Now I say they. A lot of people think it's really Arrigo, John and Jim Arrigo. You've probably seen some of their crazy commercials. Actually, they're entertaining. I like to watch them. I know both the Arrigos, by the way. I know Jim Arrigo going way back, and knew his father back. But they sold out several years ago to the Morgan Auto Group. Sold out to a guy named Larry Morgan, who I also know. We were friends. So that's a nice thing about being around for a long time. I know all these guys. And apparently the Arrigo stayed on with a management contract of some kind to do the commercials, because as I say, they're funny commercials. They're all BS, but they're still entertaining. And hey, that's what the commercial is. Got to get your attention, right? If you don't watch it, what good is it? Here is the mystery shopping report. I'm speaking as if I were Agent Lightning. I'll be speaking in the first person. I arrived late in the morning and was immediately greeted by a customer service representative. She welcomed me and asked how she could assist today. I told her I was hoping to purchase a new Ram pickup truck. Now, if you're a regular listener, usually when the greeting first happens, oftentimes Agent Lightning has to walk around the lot a while, go in, look for people. In this case here, bam, someone was immediately greeted. That tells you a little bit about how good business is. When someone runs up and grabs you, that means they're not selling a whole lot of cars. It's indicative. I thought it was unusual enough that I would mention that. Okay, back as the shopper. At that moment, a salesman walked by, and she asked if he was available. He introduced himself as Golden and inquired what brought me in today. I mentioned that I saw some Ram trucks with a nice discount online. All right, we do this with most of our shopping reports, where we get an advertised price and then see what happens when you go in to try to buy it for the advertised price. Golden confirmed that they indeed had the lowest price in the state. That's called puffery. That's not even illegal. They allow you to exaggerate in advertising or in sales in your presentation. I explained that my parents and I were interested in a new pickup. Showed them a truck I found on their website, a white 2024 Dodge Ram 3500 Laramie with an MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, of $81,380. Boy, that's a lot of money. MSRP of $81,380. The listing showed a discount of $12,000. Oh, gee, $12,393. That's a slam bang doozy of a discount, isn't it? Sounds pretty good. And the Origo price of $68,987. The Origo price. Oh, what is a price? I don't want to sound philosophical, but what is a price? I have absolutely not. Nobody knows what a price is. I mean, it isn't what you can buy the car for, but the Origo price. He confirmed the truck was available and went to grab the keys. And I'm looking at the online advertisement, and sure enough, just the way it was described, it said the price on this car with an MSRP of $81,830, and they're going to discount it over $12,000. And I can buy it. It says, I didn't say I could buy it. You can buy it. The Origo price. $68,987. Okay, where are we going from here? After he pulled the truck around, I showed him the online price and asked if that would be the final price. Golden asked if I was in the military or a veteran. When I said I wasn't, he replied that I should be eligible for all but $2,000 to $3,000 off the online discounted price. Now, first of all, that's bait and switch, because how many of us out there are veterans or in the military, all right? I mean, let's be honest. 1 out of 100, 1 out of 1,000, I'm not sure what the number is, but obviously it's a BS qualification. But if there were an incentive, and there are incentives for military, I've never heard of an incentive of $2,000 to $3,000. I've heard of $500, $600, $800. So this salesperson, Golden, has said, oh, because you're not in the military, we're going to have to charge you $2,000 or $3,000 more. Okay, that is deceptive and untrue. It's a lie. And of course, you knew they weren't in the military anyway, and it's just a bait and switch kind of a thing. Okay, Golden then asked, if the numbers look good, was I ready to do business today? Old school, South Florida, right in the handbook of South Florida car dealerships. Be sure that they're going to buy the car today, or else don't give them a good price or the best price, because they'll shop and compare it. Imagine that. Imagine how gutsy and arrogant a customer would be to take your price and actually try to get a better price. That's unacceptable. So if you're not going to buy today, I'm not going to give you my good price. That's the way it is. we'll see how it is on September the 1st. Okay, because we're going back, and I'm putting you on notice, Arrigo, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, blah, 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 in West Palm Beach. I'm going back, and we're going to mystery shop you after September 1st, and then I'm going to send the mystery shopping report to Ashley Moody. And I'm going to send the shopping report to Ted Smith, the president of the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, and I'll say, now, I'm calling you out. You said you were going to enforce the law. Here's the breaking of the law, and shame on you. And I'll be talking about it on next week's radio show. Okay, I digress. Golden then asked if the numbers look good. Was I ready to do business today? I hesitantly said yes, as long as I could discuss it with my parents, since we were planning to make the purchase together. He assured me that the office was motivated to offer their best price if I was ready to buy immediately. There we go again, immediately. I told him as long as everything looked good on paper and my parents were satisfied with the numbers, I was ready to proceed. He then asked me what monthly payment I was aiming for. I replied that the monthly payment wasn't as important as the final out-the-door price number, and Golden City understood and asked me to fill out an information sheet so we could get the numbers. Now, I'll digress just a little bit right now. The reason that they asked for the monthly payment is they call that price padding. If they talk to you and given you a price on the car, and then they seem to be changing the subject, they say, what monthly payment would you like? Now, if you make a mistake and come up with a monthly payment that allows them to give you like 72-month financing at 15% interest or something. In other words, if they have a way to go, they'll throw out the book on the price they gave you. It won't mean anything, because if they can hit you with something that is your monthly payment that you said you would pay, they got you. So it's a technique that all car dealers use. And remember, don't give them a monthly payment that's acceptable to you unless you've done the arithmetic and you know that your credit union is giving you the interest rate and you know the financing terms and you know everything about it, which most of the times we don't know that. So keep the monthly payment away from your negotiation and focus on the out-the-door price plus tax and tag only. I replied to them, okay, Golden City understood, asked me to fill out an information sheet so he could get me the numbers, the old worksheet, the old information sheet. He found my information in their system, because Agent Lightning had shopped there before, probably a couple times, and they just don't get suspicious. I don't know why. He said he would be right back because they weren't busy at all. And I said that at the beginning of the shopping report. So Chrysler Jeep is the big vehicle that Chrysler Dodge Jeep folks sell to make money, and the Jeeps aren't selling. So that's why they got plenty of time on their hands. We shared a laugh. I joked not to jinx it, or the power might go out. For about 15 minutes, he returned, apologizing for the wait, said it wouldn't be much longer as I was next in line. After another 5 minutes, he returned with a proposal. And here's the worksheet all filled out. He reviewed all the fees with me, explaining that the fees and brackets were non-negotiable. So that he took that right off the table. And in brackets was the electronic filing fee, which is a junk fee of $559.55. And there was a battery tire PTA. I don't know what PTA, Parent Teachers Association. I'm not sure what. And $195.50. I know that's not the battery and tire. So the PTA, it must be the Parent Teachers Association, because what else could be $195? And then the documentation fee is in brackets, so that's $1,198 fee, documentation fee. So that means that the Morgan Auto Group, or at least the management of this dealership, has said, thou shalt not take off these fees because we're not going to pay you a commission on these anyway. If you take these off, you're taking them off the price, and you're going to cut your commission. So the management behind this, the owners of this dealership and the management of this dealership said, we can't take this off. So that's the reason it doesn't behoove you, the shopper, the buyer, to haggle about these things. Give them a bottom line out the door price. Let them keep any fees on there they want to, but if you don't get the price you want, you're going to walk and you're going to buy the car from their competition. That's the way to get the price down. While the upper portion in this worksheet could vary if I was ready to buy immediately, they're the old, you're going to buy today. I expressed that I wasn't interested in the Arrigo Advantage. And this is, you got to hang on to your hats when I tell you about this Arrigo Advantage. And it's $2,995. So he pulled out a sheet to show me what it included. And I'll read this fast because there's just too much. I've never seen an Advantage like the Arrigo Advantage. So you ready? Here's the Arrigo Advantage. We'll call it $3,000. Paint and fabric protection, sanitization and antimicrobial treatment, rain repellent, door edge guards and cup guards, headlight protection, anti-theft VIN etching, AC system refresh, nitrogen tire service, stolen vehicle assistance, roadside assistance, collision loyalty credit. I'm running out of breath. Customer welcome kit. So that's what the Arrigo Advantage is. $3,000 worth of crap, and that whole list that I just read probably cost him $500, maybe 400. He wants to charge you $3,000. I pointed out there were over $4,000 in add-ons, and asked if that wasn't a bit high. He acknowledged that the Arrigo Advantage might be discounted or even removed. So that tells you what it's worth. They might discount it. That means it can be, and it would be if you were going to buy today. But anything in the brackets couldn't be changed. I then asked about the $1,198 documentation fee, and he clarified that it was a dealer fee. So now he confessed. He confessed that it was a dealer fee, and on the worksheet, here's what he said. The worksheet, he called, it was a doc fee. Okay, I'm sorry. After pondering the numbers for a minute, he asked again what I thought about buying the truck today. As you mentioned before, they might be able to discount the truck further. I told him I needed to discuss it with my parents, especially since my stepdad wasn't keen on the dual wheels. I mentioned that I'd talk to them later and let them know. I bid Golden goodbye and left. That's Golden Miller, by the way. Golden Miller at Arrigo in West Palm Beach. So here we have it, and now we have to decide what the grade, what the score is. And every week I remind you that you have to look at the grade on the curve, because we have to provide some source of buying cars in the area that people shop. And if you fail every dealer in the area, in some areas like South Florida, I would fail every dealer in the area because they are all out to get you. But if I did that, we would have no place to buy a car. So if it's an average dealer, give them a C, even though they're bad. The only Fs we give out is when you just break the law, and it would be dangerous, frankly, to go into that dealership. A's, they're like hen's teeth. You don't see many hen's teeth, and you don't see many A's. So grade on the curve, and send your grade into earloncars.com or youtube.com/earloncars. Oh, I got that right the first time. youtube.com/earloncars. And we can text it in, and we'll read your scores as they come in.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, send in your scores at 772-497-6530. Rick?
Jonathan in Palm Coast says, better not go Arrigo. Entertaining commercials won't get you a great deal when purchasing a car. Be on the lookout for someone like this dealership. Do your homework before walking into a place like this. The lowest price in the state rapidly became unaffordable, even with a wonderful $12,000 discount. Lies, bait and switch, Arrigo Advantage, and excessive non-negotiable fraudulent fees garner this dealership an F from me. Dr. Seuss is alive and well. I understand that they need to make a profit, but I refuse to buy from a dealership that willfully takes advantage of and deceives their customers. Okay, here is Bob from Maryland. He says, it would have been a D, but I'm not giving the lowest grade, not price, in the state. It's an F.
Oh boy.
Oof. Our folks here are tough. Now, let me get my YouTube channels up here, and here we go. We have T Cash says F, and you can't change that vote because it's in brackets. Signed, the Parent Teachers Association. Johnny Z. Frey. Oh, Johnny Z. Fraley. Here's a Rego again. With fees, the big discount didn't turn out to be a good price after all. It's a D for Dodge, away from the dealer. Mark H. D. Classic bait and switch. Brian Sidlatko. Their ad was deceiving. Too many fees, gets a D. Mark Smith says, I give Arrigo CDJ a D minus. To Tim Gilliland, a D. Cram 1624, F. First you go into the brackets, then the box. Of still no out the door price. Joseph Kelleher, D. Tom Steckel, one word, Arrigo, D minus.
I like that.
Me, I'm following the crowd with a D grade. Just be ready for them, folks. If you got to go to Arrigo, go in there and beat the heck out of them. Like Earl said, they're not moving cars, so you got a good chance to work a better price, but be ready to beat them up.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Do you have any more grades?
I think that is all of them.
Okay.
I'm double checking our text line and the both channels, and nope, we're caught up right now.
Okay, I'll go ahead and vote. And I'm just wondering, first of all, is there any difference between ETA, I use that a lot, and PTA? I just want to emphasize this colorful mystery shopping report. What is the difference between ETA and PTA? Okay, trying to make a point. Why are consumers, why do they distrust dealerships? Why does it run so high? Here is an example right here, ladies and gentlemen. You know, my stomach is upset just reading this. This is ridiculous. You know, from asking a potential buyer what they want to pay a month. That is as old as my shoes. This here monthly payment thing, I mean, it's just not acceptable. And the qualifying for the military and how you can't save any money because you don't qualify. And this salesperson, Golden, I mean, what can I say about him? He's just about as arrogant as they come. And for Arrigo, these people should go to jail. That's where they should be. And my grade is a F.
Well, I'll tell you, that's the worst series of grades I've seen in a long time. And it is a South Florida dealership. And I say grade on the curve. I'm torn. I can't bring myself to give them an F. I'm going to give them a D minus. And I think one of the reasons the grades are so bad is because we're on the edge of the enforcement level. So I'm going to, this will be an interesting experiment. We will revisit Arrigo. I hate to give them a notice this soon because I know September 1st is going to be enacted, but I'm going to communicate with AutoNation. I'm going to communicate with the Attorney General, with Ashley Moody, and I'm going to communicate with Ted Smith, the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, and I'm going to give them a copy of this shopping report, and I'm going to recommend that they be put on the list, one of the first dealerships to be visited by Ashley Moody, and see if, in fact, this commitment that she's made has teeth in it. So I'm still going to give them a D minus because it is a South Florida dealership. Any other place in the world, I'd give them an F, but I'll give them a D minus.
Yeah. That PTA is a projected time availability or whatever. Anyway, a lot of fancy words
Yeah.
in the mystery shopper report that don't mean a damn thing. Okay, we have, I believe, by the clock, 4 minutes left? 3 minutes left. Okay, I failed to ask Jonathan to put the video up for Nayla. And can you run that real quick?
Hi, this is Nala. She's one of our long-timers here at the ranch. As you can see, she got a lot of energy, very, very playful dog. So we're taking her out, getting a nice walk in. She loves people, very, very sweet. She loves a lot of attention. One of her favorite things in the world is peanut butter. She will do anything for peanut butter.
nice, like
She
peanut
needs a
butter.
little more training, a little more work, but she's a wonderful dog and she has a lot of potential for somebody who wants a dog who can really bond with them.
Looks like she might like to chase cars, too. That's not good.
She's got the legs for it. Go to Big Dog Ranch and take a look at that little darling, and she may be a fit for you and your home. Okay, we're running out of time. Is there something quickly you would like to mention, Earl?
No, I just Big Dog Ranch. I think we should, if anything, allow more time for them because they're truly the best dog protection organization in the world. I mean, I say the world. They bring dogs from China, from all over the world. Dogs that are being butchered for food, that are being released with no care. They are truly saints in the industry. And if you're going to adopt a dog, if you're anywhere near a Big Dog Ranch Rescue, there are 3 of them in the country, you should absolutely give them a shot.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Oh, how we love your company. You make the show. Thank you for tuning in.